I'm Barry Vaudrin, and my world revolves around the cruise industry. Hundreds of cruise ships worldwide offer adventure, romance, amazing port cities and excursions, fine dining, incredible entertainment, and finally, a host of talented crew members and fascinating passengers. Welcome to my world. Welcome to Cruising with Barry. Barry here with Cruising Authority. Well, I've been on over 300 cruises, and I get asked all the time, what's your favorite cruise? So I'm going to share that with you in this video. I created a 6-part series of videos aboard the Queen Mary 2 on a transatlantic crossing, and this was a dream come true for me. I sailed eastbound from Brooklyn, New York to Southampton, England, and I was in a Princess Grill suite, which was fabulous, very comfortable, had a veranda looking out to the sea. It was just a great experience. And I wanted to share some of the things that I experienced during that cruise and pick apart some scenes from this 6-part video series. One of my favorite experiences when cruising or crossing out of New York is to go under the Verrazano Bridge. Watch as the Queen Mary 2 passes under the Verrazano Bridge. It's really quite fascinating. Another question that I get often is, what is the difference between an ocean liner and a cruise ship? Well, the captain of the Queen Mary 2 gave a great description of why an ocean liner is different than a cruise ship. Captain Wells, can you explain the difference between a cruise ship and an ocean liner?
Probably 4 main differences, Barry. The first one is on the hull itself. And that is the ocean liner has a strengthened hull, both in girder strength and also in shell plating. And that's to resist the hydrodynamic forces of the water passing over the hull out in the deep ocean. And the second one is in hull shape. And the ocean liner has much finer lines forward, which means that it takes longer along the length of the hull for the ship to reach its widest point. This allows the hull to cut into the ocean nicely and smoothly without slowing the ship down. It also reduces the tendency of the ship to react to a large ocean swell by pitching more. The cruise ships are wider further forward, and they have more buoyancy, and so as an ocean swell comes along, they tend to react violently and pitch rapidly. So the ocean liner maintains a more steady motion. And the weight of the ocean liner, it's heavier steel, makes it sit deeper in the water, so that it has more stability in the ocean swell. So then the third major item is the power. And the power is increased substantially. There's a reserve of power in order to maintain a scheduled speed. Because broadly, a liner is a ship that is maintaining a scheduled crossing between 2 ports. And then designed an ocean liner is maintaining a scheduled, we maintain a schedule across the North Atlantic. And then the fourth item is inside the ship itself. We know we're going to have days and days at sea, and we need to occupy our guests with things to do and space to roam while we have all those days at sea. And so the volume of the passenger spaces is increased, and you just have more space per passenger inside the ocean liner.
It was the Queen Mary in Long Beach where I began my interest in ocean liners. And so this 6-part series about the Queen Mary 2 and the Queen Mary has some great contrast between the two ships.
I'm standing in the Queen's room aboard the Queen Mary 2, which is arguably one of the most beautiful rooms afloat. Reminiscent from the days of the transatlantic ocean liners and their fantastic ballrooms, the Queen's room aboard the Queen Mary 2 is very, very elegant, and it has the feel, a regal, luxurious feel of the days of the transatlantic liners. Let's go now and visit the first-class lounge aboard the Queen Mary.
The main lounge aboard the Queen Mary contained the essence of luxury, with walls covered in maple burr veneer and masterful pieces of handcrafted art, heavy furniture, deep carpets, exquisite lighting, which all came together to offer an Art Deco style of comfort, usually only found in the finest of English clubs or manors. We're going to focus in on the dining aboard the original Queen Mary and the Queen Mary 2. Dining aboard the original Queen Mary was truly an event where the passengers often felt like they were in a royal palace or the star in a great movie. On these ocean liners previous to the rise of the cruise industry, ships like the Queen Mary carried the reputation of an entire nation, which is why some of the liners back then were referred to as ships of state. With that in mind, the Queen Mary and her sister ship, the Queen Elizabeth, carried the responsibility to produce the highest quality Britain had to offer, with the best chefs, the best cuisine, and a regal dining environment with an Art Deco design. The Queen Mary had a beautiful chart in the main dining room that allowed passengers to see the approximate position of their ship as it made its way across the Atlantic. Fast forward now to the future aboard the Queen Mary 2, and you can expect the same excellence, reminiscent of the days of the original Queen Mary. The Britannia restaurant has the same regal elegance of an Art Deco past, placing passengers as the star of the show on a great stage. The service is impeccable, and while the passengers are the star of the show, the cuisine is the leading attraction. Extra efforts went into the design of the vintage and decorative crown moldings adorning the walls in the Britannia restaurant, offering that feeling of being on a classic ocean liner of the past. The original Queen Mary offered luxuries equal to the best of the best that life had to offer, which includes an exquisite swimming pool and Turkish bath area on D deck. The two-level cabin-class pool area was a bright room with simulated mother-of-pearl covering the vaulted ceiling, designed after the ancient swimming baths found in Pompeii and Rome. A balcony allowed passengers to look down and watch the swimmers. The tourist-class passengers also had a pool located on F deck. Ocean liners like the Queen Mary and the SS United States had some interesting treatments other than the usual steam rooms and pool areas, one of which includes this odd device I had a chance to experience on board the SS United States called a thermal light bath or electric bath cabinet. It was basically a box for one person to bask in the heat of the lights. Today, the Queen Mary 2 continues the Cunard tradition, offering the best of the best with the Canyon Ranch Spa Club. Well known as one of the most exclusive and luxurious land-based spas, the Canyon Ranch Spa Club is now available to passengers on the Queen Mary 2. I particularly enjoyed the thalassotherapy pool with soothing jets of water, a gentle waterfall, all designed to relax the muscles and calm the mood. If your body gets too hot, grab some fresh ice to cool down. There's even a special hot tub just for the feet, where you can choose either hot or cold bubbling water.
The Canyon Ranch Spa Club claims to treat the mind, body, and spirit with calming water therapy, a steam room, and sauna. There's a special warm chamber that uses aromatherapy and soothing music to help you unwind from a busy day on board the Queen Mary 2. The bridge of the Queen Mary 2 has the latest in navigational technology. Many things have changed over the years. Today, the wheel is a very small wheel, smaller than your car wheel. And to actually operate the engines, you can operate them directly without a telegraph, but with directly through electronics through these devices here. This is a telegraph. Rather than just pushing a button and making the engines do something, the captain makes a command. For example, he'll say, "Ahead slow," and the quartermaster would come up here and he would move the telegraph to ahead slow. And when he did that, another unit like this in the engine room would sound an alarm, and there would be an indication ahead slow, and that's how they communicated with the engine room. So it wasn't automated; it was actually all human effort. They sent a signal to the engine room, and then in the engine room, the crew members actually adjusted the steam into the turbines, and that's how the ship would go faster or slower.
The Queen Mary 2 is an incredibly powerful ocean liner, and yet she has more than sheer brute power like the original Queen Mary or ships like the SS United States. Rather, the Queen Mary 2 was designed with modern computer technology, a refined hull design, and a sophisticated propulsion system. Deep inside the hull of the Queen Mary 2 are 4 giant Wärtsilä diesel engines. The engine room has a total power output of 67 megawatts. I think it's fascinating, however, that 14 stories above the sea, just behind the funnel, is a special casing containing 2 GE gas turbine engines. Since 1959, GE has been building gas turbine engines, starting with the U.S. Navy. So there's a tremendous level of pride at GE for the long track record, success, reliability, and efficiency of their engines.
In this 6-part series filmed aboard the Queen Mary 2, I had the great privilege of interviewing a number of key people aboard the ship, like the captain, the cruise director, and the chief engineer, as well as the head chef. It was during this transatlantic crossing on the Queen Mary 2 where the ship actually passed over where the Titanic sank 112 years ago. And I just wanted to share this with you because it really was kind of a special moment.
I'm on the deck of the Queen Mary 2. We're at sea, and I just confirmed with the bridge our location. This happens to be the exact spot that the Titanic sank 100 years ago in 1912.
So why would anybody want to do a transatlantic crossing on an ocean liner? During this crossing, I sat on my balcony and I gave kind of a heartfelt description of why I thought a transatlantic crossing was very special.
This transatlantic crossing for me has tremendous meaning. It's been a very special opportunity for me to share this experience with my wife. And for those who are watching this video series who are well-traveled, you've been there, done that, but you have not done a transatlantic crossing on an ocean liner, I want to encourage you to give this a try. Give this an opportunity, because the reason I have been so passionate about the history of ocean liners, the history of the Queen Mary, and the design, construction, and launch of the Queen Mary 2 is because there is such a rich legacy and history that goes back generations of people who've gone back and forth across the Atlantic. And so this particular journey for me has tremendous meaning and value. And for you as well, I think that if you were to book yourself passage across the Atlantic on the Queen Mary 2, you too would understand and experience what I'm talking about when it comes to this history, nostalgia, and legacy. It's a regal journey, and it's an absolute must, and I hope you'll book passage very soon.
I would encourage you to check out this 6-part series filmed on the Queen Mary 2. I'll have a link to this series of videos in the description below, so please check it out when you get a chance. Watch all 6, you'll love it.